What's going on? Welcome. Thanks for checking out this video. So, in continuation with the big report from the Hollywood Reporter from Wednesday that discussed rumors from inside sources who made the huge claim that new DC Studios co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran are supposedly planning to completely, or at minimum partially reboot the entire DC film universe, which could potentially involve the booting of Ben Affleck in the role of Batman, which to be honest, I thought he was already out as Batman years ago, which is why Robert Pattinson played him in the Batman instead of the originally planned Ben Affleck directed solo Batman movie. But apparently he was supposed to appear in Aquaman 2, according to Jason Momoa. I don't know, I had no idea, but it doesn't really matter now because those cameo scenes reportedly have been removed, according to recent test screenings. The report also claimed that Henry Cavill will not be Superman, which was the one thing in there that really pissed me off. You know, I understand they have big changes planned, and I'm not opposed to that at all, but there's absolutely no reason you can't keep Henry Cavill in there. You know, he's the perfect Superman if written correctly. But perhaps the most insane claim of them all is that Jason Momoa will be switched from his role as Aquaman to play Lobo instead. I know, it's freaking crazy. Now, of course, these are all just rumors, but the really interesting thing was that James Gunn actually responded directly to this report yesterday, which I made a video on. And it was interesting because he didn't just say outright that all of it was bullshit. He actually said some of the report was true, though unsurprisingly, he didn't give any specifics. So, you know, take that how you will. But there was one more little tidbit in the report that I haven't focused on yet since it pertains to the topic of this video. The cancellation of Wonder Woman 3. So the original report kind of framed it like director Patty Jenkins was just this innocent casualty of this transitional phase. You know, I don't know if they were just trying to protect her image or something, but it's possible they just weren't aware of these new details when they wrote it. Because it looks like she may have absolutely nobody to blame for the movie's cancellation but herself. Because it's been reported that when she turned in her story treatment for Wonder Woman 3, it wasn't really well received by Warner Brothers executives because they felt it didn't fit in with the direction that they wanted to take the film universe in. However, they didn't outright reject her project, though. They made notes on the treatment and then they sent it back to her. You know, they were still trying to figure out a way to make her film work in their overall plans, but allegedly, not only did she reject their notes and their request to rework the movie's story, but she was so offended they were asking her to compromise it all, and she flat out refused to abandon her vision. So she willingly decided to walk away from the project. So of course, Warner Brothers subsequently canceled the film. It was revealed earlier this week that Warner Brothers would not be moving forward with Wonder Woman 3, which came as a shock to DC fans. But it's now been reported that it was scrapped after director Patty Jenkins, who helmed the first two female-led superhero movies, rejected studio notes on her treatment for the sequel, which led to her exiting the project according to the Wrap. According to sources, Jenkins had turned in her treatment last week and it was not well received by studio execs. Warner Brothers Film Group co-chairpersons and CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy were cited as the ones who rejected Jenkins' treatment and did not plan to move forward with the film in its current iteration. It was also claimed that the studio's new CEOs, James Gunn and Peter Safran, agreed that Jenkins' version of the film didn't work. This was communicated to Jenkins and DeLuca, and Abdy wondered if the director would be willing to move the sequel in a different direction. It was alleged that pair's offer was refused by Jenkins, and she accused them of not understanding her vision or the trajectory of Wonder Woman as a whole. Jenkins let them know that they were wrong, that they didn't understand her, didn't understand the character, didn't understand character arcs, and didn't understand what Jenkins was trying to do. Oh, but it gets even better. Jenkins also reportedly emailed DeLuca and included a link that directed him to the Wikipedia definition of character arc, which is the journey a character embarks on. Yeah, I know what a character arc is. You don't have to freaking explain that in the article. The studio allegedly gave Jenkins another chance to pitch a different direction for Wonder Woman, but once again, she refused. Since they had no plans to use her sequel treatment, Jenkins decided to walk away and move on to her next film project. It was claimed that Jenkins also had no interest in hearing CEOs Gunn and Safran's input, though they were reportedly uninvolved in the situation. She just doesn't want to allow them to have a seat at the table to have an opinion on something new that she might come up with, the source explained. Wow. She really sounds like a conceited pain in the ass, and she really didn't like having an evil man trying to give her notes. I can't believe she actually sent Michael DeLuca an email with a link to the Wikipedia page for character arcs. You know, normally I would champion a writer-director standing their ground in the face of a big studio, trying to meddle with their vision for their movie, but I reserve that for those who actually make great movies. You know, the first Wonder Woman movie was a solid superhero flick. I enjoyed it quite a bit and everyone seems to as well. But Patty Jenkins had absolutely nothing to do with the writing on that film. The story for that movie was actually written by Zack Snyder and 2 others. Now, when it comes to the sequel, Wonder Woman 1984, it was a much different story, and outside of the good chemistry between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, I just didn't care for that movie at all. You know, it was long, bloated, and messy with its fucking stupid Donald Trump-inspired antagonist, Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal, who was only put in there so they could push their lame anti-capitalist message. And of course, the atrociously bad CGI'd Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. I mean, they were so embarrassed by that movie's effects that they purposely put their big final showdown in the dark with no lighting in an attempt to hide the horrendous CGI. So I'm sure you can guess where I'm going with this. Who do you think wrote the sequel? That's right, Patty Jenkins. And it should also be mentioned that the Wonder Woman that she wrote was also a massive box office flop. Though I do give her a little bit of slack on that because it was released simultaneously on HBO Max and the movie theaters. So yeah, I have little confidence that her Wonder Woman 3 would have actually been any good. The one she wrote was such garbage that personally, I don't really think she was in any position to be so staunchly opposed to input on her story treatment that she should just flat out walk away from it entirely. But hey, that's her problem. You know, they tried to make it work and she told them no. So there you go, that's pretty much it. You know, Patty Jenkins should seriously reconsider her decision here if this is what really happened. You know, I don't like James Gunn as a person, but the guy knows how to make really good character-driven movies. And if they're willing to work with her, stop being so freaking proud and consider their input. You ain't that hot, sweetie. Your last movie sucked. I mean, what the hell else will she do next year if she isn't filming Wonder Woman 3? You know, her Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie was canceled too. So, there you go. That's it. Let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. Please like and share the video, and consider subscribing if you enjoy my content. And I'll catch you all later.